When the Booster Tours Pass came out last March, we weren't really expecting much from the Tour City tracks. They would probably just pull one variant from the game and call that the Tour City track, right? Well, I mean, we couldn't have been any more wrong. They turned every single variant from Mario Kart Tour, smushed them together, and turned them into just one track. And I think that's pretty cool. Especially when you consider Mario Circuit 3 has other variants, and they just only took the one. I feel like this is one of the reasons why I see Mario Circuit 3 as missed potential, and one of my least favorites, because it just could have had so much potential. So, I wanted to take this fantasy to another level. What if every SNES track was just turned into a Tour City track? Not like in the sense that they would just become like city tracks, as in there's buildings and stuff. They just smushed all three variants together. Well, that's what I did. Most of the tracks I came up with probably don't make much sense whatsoever. So I'm glad Mario Circuit is one of the more normal ones. I mirrored Mario Circuit 1 so that it can like kind of match up better with Mario Circuit 2 and 3. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. So, the starting line is going to be at this spot right here. And so, on lap 1, you just turn right onto Mario Circuit 1 and just complete it as normal. But when you get closer to the part where Mario Circuit 3 is, you kind of go, like, underground, just so that Mario Circuit 3 has that space to make the tight turn. And so that the tight turn feels more like climactic or something. So that there's not like track in the way. So if you miss, it's not as punishing. So after you rise back up into the straightaway where all the tracks meet up, you go into Mario Circuit 3, where as soon as you take that turn, it starts kind of going up to where the tight turn is starting to come up. But then after the tight turn, it starts to go down like a little hill. So it's not that much of an elevation change. I'm only really doing this just so that it kind of just matches up with how I want to do it. And then the final lap is on Mario Circuit 2. And Mario Circuit 2 is just pretty much just normal. It goes through the normal layout, it has the jump over the other piece of track, and then once you get to the end, you just go up that straightaway and the track is over. So I feel like Mario Circuit is probably the more normal one, but some will be more confusing than others. So just keep in mind that I wanted to make Donut Plains like its main feature, the big lake in the middle. So here's the map, and we're just gonna go down the list of how I want to do it. So lap 1 is gonna be Donut Plains 2, because on Donut Plains 1, it's actually connected to Donut Plains 3 through this little river. So I wanted to make sure that there was just like, the lake was still the big feature. So Donut Plains 2 keeps the big lake under like a secret. So then when you complete Donut Plains 2, you turn right onto Donut Plains 1, and then you get to see a little glimpse of the big lake that Donut Plains 3 has. And then, after you do Donut Plains 1, you just go straight into Donut Plains 3, taking this straight away, and then you just go through Donut Plains 3 as usual, and then when you get to the end, you just go backwards through here. I thought this would be more confusing, but I don't really think so. It kind of just depends on who you are, and if you overthink like me. So these are where the tracks start to get kind of complicated, is really how I can describe them. So here's the track or map I have created for Ghost Valley. The starting line shall be right here, and the first lap is on Ghost Valley 3. You may be wondering why Ghost Valley 3 is the first lap, and well, it's because it's just not as interesting, as like layout interesting as the other two. Sure, it's really big, but that's kind of what it's going for. Ghost Valley 2 has jumps, and Ghost Valley 1 has a new glider ramp. So after completing Ghost Valley 3, you start the second lap, and you go into this like weird little S bend up into Ghost Valley 1, as it does this overbane turn, kind of like the one from Boo Lake, as I'm doing right here in the footage. And then after that, you just kind of just go through the rest of the track until you get to this part right here, where you fly in a glider all the way to the across, and then after completing this little section, you trick on or just go onto the normal section of track to start Ghost Valley 2 on the final lap. And I mean, it's just normal Ghost Valley 2. And after you complete Ghost Valley 2, you just head back to the starting line and it's over. So there's not really anything interesting, it's just some new things. I think I took a lot of risks with this, I would say. Yay, another complicated track. I'm not sure if it is as bad as Ghost Valley, but we'll see. Here's the map for Bowser's Castle, and you can say if it's better or worse than Ghost Valley in terms of complication. But I made all these maps just for this video, so if you can leave a like and subscribe, that would be pretty cool. Anyway, Bowser's Castle on lap 1 is going to consist of Bowser's Castle 3. Again, it is the most simplistic track, again, with only like a few jumps that kind of just really stand out. But at the end, you kind of just trick or just fall onto the straightaway where the finish line is. By the way, the finish line and starting line is right here. Anyway, the second lap will take place on Bowser's Castle 2, where you kind of go like in reverse, kind of. So it's pretty interesting. Or instead, you can turn left. So although the racers are going in completely different locations. But if you want to play just the normal track, then I would recommend going left. But if you want to play it in reverse, how about you go forward? I don't know. It's all up to you, I would say. Then after going through the track, you would head back onto this section of track, and then you play Bowser's Castle 1 in reverse. So yeah, that's Bowser's Castle. So this is the only track that doesn't have all 3 variants on Super Mario Kart. So I had to be a little bit more creative. So here's the map, and you may notice something, but we'll just continue on as normal. On lap 1, it will take place on Choco Island 1 after starting right here. As you can see, it's kind of just interesting looking and stuff. So Choco Island 1 just plays as normal. Then you go into Choco Island 2 with the giant mud field just as normal. But then, when you finish Choco Island 2, you start to take that beginning path on Choco Island 1 on the final lap. And then you go into this little, like, valley section, I would say. As you go through this little valley section, you're coming across a mountain. And what other mountain could it be than Choco Mountain? Yes, most of this track, or Choco Island 3, pretty much just consists of Choco Mountain from the Nintendo 64. So after going through this part, you head straight into a glider section where you fly across the mud field from Choco Island 2, and then you complete the rest of the map on Choco Island 2. I feel like that's a pretty good grand finale for Choco Island, and it really gets a bad rep for just having that mud field in Choco Island 2 and just kind of being really boring. So I think Choco Island 3, or my Choco Island air quotes 3, will be a little bit more interesting and give this track some new light. Yay, another track that doesn't have all 3 variants. Woohoo. Well, I mean, it can't be that bad. They're just circles, so it's going to be really easy. The starting line is right here. The first lap is Vanilla Lake 1. The second lap is Vanilla Lake 2. And then our special third variant, in air quotes, is going to start on Vanilla Lake 1 as you turn into this area that was stolen from Sherbet Land. So after you go through the cave from Sherbet Land, you kind of just go in like the normal direction on Vanilla Lake 1, so you just do almost a full lap on Vanilla Lake 1, but you then go through Vanilla Lake 2 backwards. So as you go through Vanilla Lake 2 backwards and you're about to come across the finish line, that's where the lap ends. So yeah, that's pretty much the only way I can make Vanilla Lake that interesting, considering that the track is literally a circle. It's figure 8 circuit all over again. Here we go, the final track of the video does not have all 3 variants. At least it's more designably and visually more interesting than Vanilla Lake can ever be, so it's going to be more fun to see how this one turns out. Here is the map for Koopa Beach, And, I mean, what else is there to do except to just go right into it? The starting line will be right here, and the starting lap will be on Koopa Beach 2. I know, it kind of doesn't make sense, but I promise it will make more sense eventually. So, after doing one lap on Koopa Beach 2, you start lap 2. Now, Koopa Beach 2 will be the beginning bit of Koopa Beach 2. As you turn into the section where all the water is, you're gonna turn right onto Koopa Beach 1, and you just kind of just complete Koopa Beach 1 as normal. And then, after doing Koopa Beach 1, you go across the water back from where you came from onto Koopa Beach 2. And then, you start the third lap, and you start Koopa Beach 3 in air quotes. So, you kind of just go across the water and kind of take like a little bit of a similar layout to Koopa Beach 1. In fact, that's where I got all these islands from. But then you go onto Koopa Troopa Beach from the Nintendo 64, and then you go back onto Koopa Beach 1 before taking a left on Koopa Beach 2, where you get to the water section, so that you can finish the lap backwards. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for Koopa Beach 2. Or, I mean, not just 2, but you know what I mean. So, this is what I think all the tracks from Super Mario Kart will look like if all 3 variants were put together into one, just like the Tour City tracks. I think they're pretty good. I don't think Nintendo will probably ever do this, and neither will it ever happen. But I think it's a pretty interesting concept. So, what do you guys think of these variants? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.